Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Elena and today I have a very exciting video for you guys because my Hoya Acuta white has bloomed for me for first time, you guys. It is so exciting. I have had this Hoya for almost 3 years and it's the first time it bloomed for me, and the flowers are absolutely gorgeous. Take a look again. They are white. And it has a little bit of that kind of a peachy color in the center. It's very, very pretty. It smells absolutely beautiful. A lot of Hoyas seem to release their scent in the evening, and this one is a little bit different. It smells all day long, you guys. And this is a day 3, and it's still pretty strong scent, but it's very pleasant. It's kind of like lacunosa scent, very floral, very clean, very pretty scent. So I'm really enjoying this first bloom. It's absolutely beautiful, you guys. From what I understand, Hoya Acuta flowers can vary in color. I think the white is for actual flower color. I don't think it's for the white variegation that I have on my leaves. Also, some people call this Hoya Verticillata. I don't know. I've tried to do some research and there was a little bit of confusion on that. So I'm just gonna call it Hoya Acuta white because that's what I purchased as. And I tried to keep tags the way plants were sent to me, so there is no confusion. This Hoya originated in Southeast Asia. You can find this Hoya grown in the wild in Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia. This Hoya requires full sun to a partial shade, but from what I read about it, if you have it in the full sun, leaves can turn yellow, which is not a very pretty look for this Hoya. So I'd say bright and direct light is very good for it. I grow my Hoya on my north window upstairs in my bedroom. It's been there for at least a year and it seems to be very happy there, and the variegation on it absolutely beautiful. It's just white, it's crisp, it's absolutely beautiful variegation, and it bloomed for me on that window, so that tells me the lighting is really good for it and it's very happy there. As of watering, this Hoya has very thick leaves. It almost doesn't have much of the veining. They're very thick and succulent, so this Hoya holds a lot of water in its leaves. It does need a very well watering, but it doesn't need to dry out in between. I do have it in a plastic pot and it's a 4-inch pot, and what I do, I basically have water running all the way through once or twice, and once it's done draining, I put it back in my pot. And seems like the schedule for this Hoya is absolutely perfect in my environment. It's kind of hard to gauge when this Hoya needs to be watered because leaves don't really lose that thickness that much. It could get a little bit softer, but not as much as some Hoyas, to determine when it needs to be watered. So I just stick to my every other week schedule and it seemed to work very well for this Hoya. Soil for this Hoya, you need very well draining soil. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I make my own Hoya mix. I use black gold potting soil. I also add charcoal, orchid bark, perlite, and I also have in this particular plant, I have some cocoa chunks in there, which looks like that. Basically, all you want for your Hoyas is very well draining soil. So when you water it, the water comes right through it. As of the flower umbel right here, this Hoya blooms for about 3-4 days. This is a day 3 for me. I wasn't able to film yesterday and I was hoping it still would be in bloom. And thankfully it is. So I can share with you guys. This Hoya can produce 15 to 40 flowers per umbel. I don't know how many I have here, but I want to say at least 30. I don't know. It looks pretty full, especially for a first time for it to bloom. It's pretty full, which is very exciting because sometimes when your Hoya develops that first peduncle, I find that sometimes they do blast just because your plant doesn't have enough energy to really have that plant bloom yet, so I was pleasantly surprised that it did bloom for me for first time and it did not lose any flowers at all. And you might be wondering why I have a Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess here next to me. And the reason why, I actually came across some discussions on Hoya Acuta White before, and I found it very interesting that some people were saying that why would I purchase Acuta White if it looks just like Crimson Princess. And I gotta tell you, they are very, very different. I mean, this is two different type of Hoyas completely. And at first look, they might look very similar because of that inner white variegation, and that's probably why people think it's kind of the same. It is not. It is absolutely different. Crimson Princess leaves are absolutely different. Let me get as close as possible. They are absolutely different. They are shaped differently. They're not as thick as Hoya Acuta White. You could see right here the difference in the size and the shape. Like I mentioned, Acuta White doesn't really have a lot of veining. I guess the variegation may be throwing some people off, but it's really two different plants. I can definitely recommend this Hoya for a beginners, since I have this Hoya for almost 3 years, and when I purchased this Hoya, I knew nothing about it. I never had any trouble growing it whatsoever. It does take a little time to start, just like any Hoya that needs to acclimate and get used to your house. So just any Hoya, it will take a little time to start, but once it does, it really keeps on going. It grew so much, and I am even having a new leaf right here, you guys. As of propagation, this Hoya propagates very easily. In my experience, I did propagate it twice. I was sharing with my friends, so I took a little cuttings, and basically I just did my soil non-soil propagation. If you guys interested what I use for propagating my Hoyas, I will insert video right here if you guys want to check it out. You can propagate by cutting a vine. I would cut it right here before these two leaves, and then you would put this stem right here. You would put it into either the same mix that I use, or you can propagate in perlite, you can propagate in water or leca, so whatever way you guys like propagating. I personally like direct soil propagation just because it's much easier and it takes one more step out of my routine, I guess. That is how I grow this beautiful Hoya. If you come across one of this, I would definitely recommend to pick it up. It's very good and beautiful Hoya to add to your collection. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a like so YouTube promotes it to other plant people. Share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and happy growing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!